Now we are seeing that the trend is kind of changing, and that's where we are seeing that the push that the government was making on the affordability segment, on the affordable part of it, that's what is paying off right now. And that's where developers have kind of realized, they have changed their mindset. If you go to any of the developers office, which is grade A, if I talk about grade A plus developers, they have a team only dedicated and focused towards affordable segment. So their entire thought process is towards affordability. In fact, there are certain developers who have put in a team in place which is only going to cater towards the EWS development. When I say EWS development, is that below 10 lakh rupees product. So they say that there is again a very huge demand in that segment. So it's a complete change of mindset which is kind of trading for, and that is obviously because there is a lot of push happening from the government side, but I think this is reality. What we will do half-yearly basis when it comes to new launches, and followed by North, which is at 217% increase on a half-yearly to half-yearly. South, it's just a nominal increase, 3%, and West, in fact, it's a degrowth, which is at minus 74%. So West, we don't see much of activity. In fact, 6 months back, there were a couple of Knight Frank. Just to talk about Knight Frank, we are a UK-based organization. We have been there in the business of real estate for the last 120 plus years, and in India we have been there in the market for last 23 plus years, and as far as Bangalore is concerned also, we are pretty much there for about close to 20 odd years servicing in this particular market. This was our latest edition of India Real Estate Report. This was our 11th edition, and like all other half-yearly reports, in this particular report also we are covering the top 8 cities of the country. And within the top 8 cities, we are talking about the top 2 asset classes of real estate, which is residential and commercial real estate. And we are giving an insight in terms of what has happened in the real estate world over the past 6 months. So H1 of 2019 is what we have kind of revealed this time. And for the city of Bangalore, it has been a fabulous news in terms of both as far as the residential development or the residential market is concerned, as well as the commercial real estate is concerned. Both in commercial and residential real estate, we have seen there is a very healthy transactions in terms of office space leasing, as well as even in the residential sales. Residential sales have moved up by almost close to 9% on a half-yearly basis, H1 2018 to H1 2019. In terms of commercial real estate, it has moved up by almost close to 26% on a half-yearly basis, the transaction volume. And today, in fact, in commercial office space, the transaction volume is close to 8.3 million square feet, which is highest among in the past 1 decade. So that's the kind of a momentum that we are seeing in the market. And as far as the segment or the residential segments are concerned, there is a huge shift in terms of the market segment. Almost close to 85% of the total launches that is taking place in the market has happened in the sub 75 lakh rupees bracket. To be precise, it would be almost close to 18% is the sub 25 lakh rupees bracket, and it would be close to 38% of the total percentage of launches in the sub between 25 to 50 lakh rupees bracket, and the remaining is between 50 to 75 lakh rupees bracket. See, general election is more to do with the India scenario, the India story. The real estate is more regional and more state subject. So for us, general election doesn't make much of a difference. But yes, from a stability point of view, we all look at stability. We are seeing that the things that are going to affect the real estate largely is infrastructure projects, and infrastructure projects are largely driven by the central government. And that's where we see that there is going to be a lot of boost on the infrastructure bit of it, and that's where the vision of the Modi's government is going to come true over the next 5 years, and then housing for all, and then the boost towards the affordable housing. All these are effects which we have been seeing for the last 2 years, and today we are seeing the results. There is a complete change in the mindset in terms of how the market is behaving, the market is delivering. I think the market has realized where is the real demand, real potential. The government has kind of pushed them towards identifying the thought process or putting the thought process together that one needs to cater towards that particular segment. So the market is, I think, it's very, very active, very very buzzing right now. On the infrastructure part of it, again, I would say infrastructure is also a key driving factor. So when we look at both residential and the office segment, there is a close to 145% jump in the transaction volume in the Whitefield belt, just because of the metro activity and the metro connectivity and the visibility that is happening on the work point of view, on the construction related activity. Similarly, on the Whitefield feed, on the residential side, there is almost a 500% jump towards on the launches part of it. So that itself shows that if there is an infrastructure development that is taking place, it is actually going to boost both the residential as well as the office segment.
So this is because of IT companies are there in Whitefield areas.
So Bangalore is an IT-driven market. So when we look at the total transaction volume, it is purely driven by IT. Even though pure IT segment is roughly around 48%, but then if I look at the BFSI segment, which is also nothing but this is the back-end support activities, is also primary. If I see it's a IT-related activity. So the entire market, I would say it's still a good 80-85% of the market is pure IT-driven market, and what the driving factor for this market is purely IT.
So according to your report, so what will be the Bangalore market for next fiscal year?
So what we are talking about is what has happened in the first half, and going and looking at the trends in terms of the first half of the year. If 8.3 million square feet has already been transacted in the very first 6 months of the year, and if last year we had done about 13.7 million square feet, I think pure average will beat that particular number in terms of the total transaction wise. We are sitting on very strong demand. I think the demand is only increasing day by day. The challenges that we are facing on the office transaction better is on the low supply side. So the vacancy rates are just about 4%. Certain micro markets it's even not 4%, it's just about 2%. So outer ring road today, if you look at the vacancy, it would be just about 2%. So looking at that scenario, there is a space constraint, there is a high demand, and that's where it is also pushing the entire pricing up. And the market average has already moved up by 14% over the past 6 months. So that's a very healthy sign.